Welcome back, everybody. This is cuzmegustan, and this is part 2 of Let's Play Legend of Mana. In the last part, we opened up the wonderful town of Domina, and without further ado, we're going to go there, and hopefully, not hopefully, I know exactly what's going to happen, we're going to get started on our first quest, so we can finally get through all this boring stuff, introductory stuff. But before then, I'm actually going to set myself up so that I can start unlocking some new abilities. As I mentioned in the previous episode, depending on the combination of abilities that you use, you get new abilities, and those abilities in turn lead to other abilities, and it's just a vicious cycle until you eventually unlock all of them, and then you can jump for joy because you never have to do it again. But if you use Defend, which I don't know why I switched because I had it on this one, but if you use Defend and Push, you unlock Grapple. And I just realized none of my special techniques were still on, so I'm going to set those before I forget. I think the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to start unlocking abilities first, because abilities determine how you, the special techniques you unlock. So I'll unlock all the abilities first, and then from there I'll start unlocking more of my special techniques. They're not too important. I mean, you can do fights without them, but they're also kind of showy and fun. And another joke about this game that I never fully grasped when I was a kid is the guy that just walked in this direction. His name is Duel. A, he teaches you how to fight, which is hysterical. And B, he is an onion and a knight. Yes, he is an onion knight. But it appeared that he was having an altercation with someone who walked in this bar, so let's go in and get interrupted by this asshole, who I absolutely despise. I'm sure there's at least one person who likes him, and if you do, if you're that one person, I feel so sorry for you because someone abused you when you were a kid or something. But without further ado, we're going to go in here and see what this guy wants. And he just generally seems to be an asshole to this poor fairy-looking lady. She's trembling in fear. I feel like I'm gonna witness domestic violence or something. I need to say we're friends. I'm going to defend her, dude. If you try to fight her, I'm going to stop you. Damn right you've wasted your time. Don't ever come back, jackass. Jackass. You are welcome, young lady. And with that, we completed... No, we didn't. We're not even close to completing our first quest. Let's see where that guy ended up, while giving you a quick tour of the city. Even though there's really not a whole lot to do right now, there's the marketplace. I have no idea why this place is called the marketplace. None of the trading goes on in this game. As you can see, there's just a sproutling, this douchebag, and the fortune teller fruit lady, who will help you at least on one quest. I don't know. I never used her because I've sort of always known what I was doing. But there's definitely one quest where she will point you in the direction you're supposed to go. And if... Oh, look, it's that guy. Hey. Who, me? Over here. I can see you. You're enormous. Take me with you. I don't... You seem like a dick. But I guess so. I won't leave you alone until we bring her back. I promise. Who are you promising? That doesn't sound like a promise I want you to keep. But anyway, let's get back to what I was saying. The fortune teller will help you on at least one quest. I don't know if she helps you on other quests, but if you ever get stuck, she's a good place to go, potentially. Or you can just keep watching my videos and I can help you out. So let's go back and talk to this girl. Now that we can serve as sort of a mediator, we might be able to see if she knows anything more. Oh, a jade egg. What do you mean, what's this? It just said it was a jade egg. And it smells like pearl. Why does a jade smell like pearl? What does a pearl even smell like? Has anybody smelled a pearl? I imagine it probably smells like clams. Right? Pearls come from clams. But we got a new artifact, which means a new world to explore, which means I'm going to place that bad boy down, and we will get started on our first quest. Now, I believe I mentioned this in the last part, but if I didn't, you don't want to place the jade egg here. This space is reserved for something important, extremely important, later. And it will actually lock you out of a few quests. It's not main story quests. It won't cause you to not be able to finish the game. But you want to leave that space open, and you can find your own way to make the map work if you want. But there are certain spaces that need to be next to each other in order to have certain quests available to you. And I'm going to be showing off all the quests in this game, so that's important to keep in mind. And floating weight text means one thing: we are actually officially on our first quest. Officially. I sense brilliance nearby. It must be Pearl. We should hurry. So here, the Onion Knight will tell you how to play, how to do combat and stuff, because his name is Duel, and what else is he going to do? Actually, if you talk to him, I'll show that off. Let's see. You're that stranger I met in Domina. Well, we never actually met. I watched you walk by. Your name's, Chumpy, right? And you can say yes. And apparently there's this great big hero, named Chumpy. And you can pretend to be Chumpy. And it comes up, a couple more times throughout the game. I don't know if that's a reference to something, or what, but yeah, it's exciting. So this is our first battle. I'm going to let Alazul take over as I explain some stuff. You attack with the X button. You do a regular light attack, and you can also attack with the square button, which will do a heavy attack. And your heavy attack is dependent upon how you're moving the controller at a certain time. Like, alright, well, the battle is over, so I'll explain that later when we get to another battle, which should be coming up pretty soon. Treasure chest. Lizard meat. Probably gross, but you know what? You can't even eat it, so it doesn't matter. And another Sparkling. Let's see what you had to say. People don't come here often. Well, if that's all you're going to say, I can imagine why. I mean, you could say, hey, how's it going? I like your hat. I do like your hat. It's a nice red color. So, see, as you can see right there, I did an uppercut, and it's basically like, just imagine an uppercut motion, and kind of like sweep the controller, or sweep the joystick. But, really, you can get by with just regular attacks. And the blue crystals that are dropping on the ground are actually the experience. That sack was a item. And blue crystals drop their experience, gold circles drop, and that's money. And in each area, there's a experience multiplier. I don't know if you... Oh, I'm sure you saw. Alazul picked up one crystal, but it was worth 2 experience because it was a ×2 multiplier. As you get further in the game, it gets higher, obviously, because if everything only gave you ×2 experience, you'd be here forever leveling up. But I think it goes as high as like 15, maybe even higher than that. I can't remember. But we're gonna carry on our wayward son and open treasure chests and completely ignore that guy. His name is Boink. He's basically a Pokemon. At the start of the dungeon, there were green wispy things in the ground. You might have noticed them. They're actually Boink's tail, even though if you were paying attention, you could also see Boink just swishing his tail back and forth just then. But if you talk to Boink, he'll say Boink, and he'll teleport you to wherever his tail is. And it's useful for getting around, like say if you got stuck or lost and you happen to come across a Boink and you remember where his tail is, you can talk to him and he'll send you back to wherever his tail is, and you won't have to deal with him. So that's exciting. I am already running out of things to talk about. Because it's all tutorial stuff. I feel like that's boring. I feel like I'm boring you. I'm boring me. I'm falling asleep. That's not true. I'm wide awake. And this guy is wombo comboing me. Here we have a status of affliction, ailment. It's confusion, I believe. But it basically just reverses your control scheme, like up is down, down is up. It's kind of annoying, but it's pretty easy to get used to. And another thing I'm refusing to mention for whatever reason, probably because I don't do it very often, is when I set grapple, or when I set defend and push, those are other buttons that you can use to use in combat. So I believe push is circle and defend is triangle. So if I press those, I can defend in battle and stuff. You sure are late. Pearl is this way. Hurry, go help her. Who are you? Why do you know Pearl's name? Oh, Pearl is a person, not a rock. That makes so much more sense. One more thing. You'd best stay away from these people. Hey, how is it you know of us? I hope you don't get turned to stone or anything. Sorry for that. Just got briefly interrupted. Ah! Pearl. Pearl. Could I sound any less enthused? I need to get more inflections in my voice. I need to sound like I'm enjoying this, because I am. It's been a couple months since I played this game. It's actually my favorite game, so I play it constantly. But this music you're going to be hearing it a lot. It indicates a boss battle. And if you couldn't figure that out, the fact that we are fighting a giant gorilla that is above average size and has above average sized weapon and above average sized health bar should have hinted to you that you are in fact fighting a boss. So he's pretty easy. And another reason why I like the two-hand axe is because and this is a little cheap, but god damn it, I love it. When you're fighting and you're using light attacks, if you keep mashing the button you do a combo, but at the end of your combo you freeze and it leaves yourself wide open. But with two-handed axes, and I'm sure it works with other weapons, I just like the two-handed axe is what I picked and it's fun to use. But if you notice, I just keep using, or I keep doing the same move over and over again. I keep doing that downward strike. And I can just wombo combo and just sit there and do absolutely nothing but that and completely take off the boss. And I'm going to show off my flying saw blades, dealing a hefty amount of damage to this boss. Not really. And he's going to impale someone, and he missed completely. And you can't see it, but if you hear the chirping, that's another status: infliction, affliction, defliction, where you're dazed. Oh hey look, counterattack. I wasn't even trying for that. And you can't move when you're dazed. Now we have to find Pearl. Do you know where Pearl is? These guys can flash each other all day long. Yes. Actually, that's a good question. If you think about it, how did she end up here? Because this place didn't exist before I made it exist. I wonder how people exist in places. Who is that? Who am I? I'm goddamn Chumpy, the hero of time. Yeah, I said it, Link. What are you gonna do? Nothing. I certainly hope I don't see you around, sir. You are welcome, pretty lady. Oh, she's blushing at us. That's cute. This guy is a douche. And we are handsomely rewarded with 2 lands. And an ending screen with Alazua looking a little silly. So that's it. Was that exciting for you or what? Those 2 characters are part of a much larger story arc that is my favorite story arc in the game, even more than the main story arc. The main story arc comes second to those 2. They are easily, they have the most emotional. You're going to hear some man tears if you stick through the end of this. Let me tell you, straight off the bat, spoilers and everything, I am going to cry like a little baby. So every time you finish a quest, you can get stuck on your staircase, and if you come up and talk to this little guy, this little cactus, conveniently named Lil Cactus, and you talk to him, after you finish the quest, he'll respond with a sentence related to the quest. Like he said, fun to get lost, because we got lost in the caves. Even though we didn't really get lost, I don't mean to brag, but I knew exactly where I was going. And then he'll write in his little leaflet there, and then if you go back upstairs, you can look at the little leaflet, and it'll say Lost Princess, and he will have written in his diary basically a summary of the story that you told him, and it's adorable, and it's fun. I won't be going through them, but I'll show them off, and if you want, some of them are kind of long. If you want, you can pause the video and read them. But with that, I think I'm going to call it an episode. In the next episode, we're going to get further on in more quests and progress through the story, because that's what we do. I'll try to get a couple more quests in. Some of these quests are pretty long, some of them are pretty short. We'll just play it by ear. But if you like this part, please hit like, and if you want to leave any feedback or any comments or anything like that, they're always appreciated. I've been cuzmegustan, and I will see you in the next one.